Hello guys, I'm here with a new project that is disease prediction by system using supervised learning. So let's get to the problem definition now. It basically states that disease is being predicted using symptoms. So classical diagnosis method is a process where the patient has to visit the doctor, undergo various medical tests and then come to a conclusion. This process is very time consuming and tedious. To save the time required and also money for the initial process of diagnosis symptoms, this project proposes an automated system that relies on user input. The system takes input from the user and provides a list of probable diseases. Now, this is the working of a system where you have to give the input as symptoms, and there would be a data set which contains symptoms and their parallel diseases. This would be analyzed using machine learning algorithm and the output would be predicted. Disease will be predicted using Naive Bayesian algorithm, which works on probabilistic approach. More specifically, multinomial Naive Bayesian, since there is multiple symptoms. So, according to a literature survey, this algorithm results in maximum accuracy for larger dataset. The dataset contains disease as the labels and symptoms. For each disease, there are symptoms given. Okay, so this is the data set that we have got. It is taken from a study conducted at Columbia University. Naive Bayesian algorithm is a classification technique based on applying Bayes theorem with a strong assumption that all the predictors are independent to each other. That simply means that the presence of a feature in a class independent to the presence of any other feature in the same class. For example, let me take it as phone. Phone may be considered as a smartphone if it has following features like touchscreen, internet facility, good camera, etc. So all these features are dependent somewhere or the other, but still they contribute independently to the probability of the phone. That is, it is a smartphone. Let's get on to the code. This is the code. At first, we have to import the necessary modules. Here, there is Tkinter, that is basic GUI. We need NumPy, that is to perform numerical operations. There is Pandas. Pandas is basically needed over here for reading the CSV files. Okay. So at the beginning, I have made a list. The list contains all the symptoms that we have considered over here. These symptoms are taken into consideration according to the order in which the data set has been made. Let me show you the data set. See, you can see that here itching, skin rash, nodal skin, everything is in the same order as that of list. Say this is the same order. Now there is another list that I have made that which contains all the diseases. Totally 41 diseases are taken into consideration. There is an empty list that we have made over here. This empty list is initially having nothing inside it. In this 36th line, it shows that L1 and L2 will have same length and that 2 will contain every element as 0. Okay, so let me show you in the presentation. See, you can see that we have to import the packages, create a list which contains symptoms, another list which contains diseases, create an empty list. You can see that L1 and L2 both have equal length now. After that for loop iteration, after that you can see that list 1 contains the symptoms over here. Sorry, list 1 contains all the symptoms and list 2 contains everything as 0. Okay, first I will just make you understand the first part, that is of testing part, and training part is also similar. There is only one thing that the variable name is different over here. Here it is taken tr, here it is taken tf, and here it is taken x test, y test, and here it is xy. That's it. Rest everything is similar. Okay, so here I have created an object of pandas which reads the CSV file. If the my CSV file has been saved in the same folder, so there is no need to give any directory, etc. But if the file is in another folder, please specify its location over here. Okay, so pandas is used to read the CSV file, so it is being read and it is saved in this variable that is here, that is object. Now, in the next step, we have used a replace function over here. In this replace function, you can see the prognosis part. The diseases have been given an index, that is fungal infection should be referred as 0, allergy should be referred as 1, 2, 3, etc. etc. until 40. You can see that same test for training a dataset using pandas. You have to read the CSV file. We are just replacing the index over here. See, this is my training data set, for example, and here I have got the prognosis, and here there is fungal infection, allergy, etc. etc. Those are just replaced by 0, 1, 2, 3, these indexes. Okay, let me show you the train data set. See, fungal infection would be 0, 0, 0, allergy would be 1, 1, 1, this would be 2, 2, 2, etc. Okay. Now here you can see that there is a parameter given over here, that is in place is equal to true. So what is that? Why do we need that? When in place is equal to true, the data is modified in place, which means it will return nothing and the data frame is now updated. Basically, it acts like a void function. That is, it doesn't return anything. So there is no need to create a variable over here. If in place is given as false, actually it is default. If we don't specify this in place parameter, it is taken as false, but we need to specify it as true. When in place is false, then the operation is performed and it returns a copy of the object. You then need to save it to something, that is new variable or the same variable, etc. But that is not needed. So we have taken in place is equal to true. Now here, now you can just imagine as a graph as x and y. X test would be containing all the symptoms and y test would be containing all the diseases over here. Okay, so y test contains the prognosis part and x test contains all the symptoms. You get that? L1 and prognosis, these both are passed as a list of list. Similarly, same thing has been done with the training data set. This is a way. Now these are two functions that I have created. We'll go to that afterwards when the functions are being called. Let's go down. I don't go down. See here. Here actually comes the GUI stuff. It is an object that has been created from TK class. Okay, so root has given a title, that is disease prediction from symptoms. This is basic GUI part. Now these are symptom 1, symptom 2, these are the 5 symptom variables that we have taken. Symptom 1 is a type of string var, that is it's an object of string var class, and initially only I have set it as none. Similarly, symptom 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now here there is a label, that is disease prediction from symptoms, config, that is give more details about it, that font should be elephant type, its size should be 30, etc. Grid is where to locate it in the window. Similarly, there is label, symptom 1, symptom 2, these are the labels of where there is a button. Okay, there is options. Okay, now actually what seen is that we had to provide an option menu. If we say that if we made it as text element, as input type as text, then it would be difficult for us to compare it. Therefore we just provided an option menu over here. Okay, so options that we are going to take in, that we should give is the symptoms, which is in the list L1. You can see that in this list L1 contains all the symptoms. has sorted and kept in options. Okay, so this is the option menu which has been created. It says that this is the value that should be displayed. This is the option part, and the answer should be saved in symptom 1. Similarly for symptom 2, symptom 3, symptom 4 and symptom 5. So next there is a text box where your output would be predicted, and this is the root dot main loop. It continues until you don't close the window bar. Just goes and continue treating, as you can see. Okay, now here there was a button that is predict button. When this predict button has been clicked, then the function, that is message function, is being executed. So let's go to the message function. So this is the message function over here. In this message function, you can see that if symptom 1 dot get, symptom 2 dot get, symptom 3 dot get, symptom 4 dot get, everything is none. You haven't given any input. Okay, see, everything is none over here. Just pop up a message that you haven't entered any symptoms. So please enter the symptom. Else, that means you have got something. Okay, you have got something. So it says then call Naive-Bayes algorithm. From sklearn.naive-Bayes. sklearn is a package which contains all the machine learning algorithm. It says that from sklearn, use Naive-Bayes and import the multinomial Naive-Bayes, precisely the multinomial Naive-Bayes. Okay, here you can see that an object has been created, that is GNB of class multinomial NB. So GNB.fit, this fit function is used. Its basic function is to fit the Naive-Bayes classifier according to X and Y. So X is the training vectors and Y is the targeted value. So you can see over here that I have used this Y part, I have used a Ravel function. Use a continuous flattened array. See, I have written an example over here, like if the array is like this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. Basically it's like a 2D array, right? Use Ravel function on that, then it will become a flattened array. That is a one-dimensional array. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Okay, for that purpose I've used a Ravel function over here. So the fit function, I'm telling about the fit function. In this fit function, there is X and Y. X is the training vector and Y are the targeted values over here. Now here, the next line, again from sklearn package, we are importing metrics, because to find the accuracy of the algorithm. So we are importing accuracy score from there. Now predict function. Predict function basically performs classification of array of the test vectors. Okay, parameter of X test will be taken into consideration and Y would be predicted based on the algorithm. X test would be my symptoms and Y is the disease predicted by using the algorithm. But Y test is basically what? Y test is my disease that I have predefined. So the accuracy score would be defined like if my predicted, that is the algorithm that predicts, is equal to the what one I desired, then the accuracy score would be more. Okay, so the maximum accuracy score is 1. The parameter over here that is given, normalize. By default, normalize is true taken. If it is defined, then we have to say that normalize should be false. Normalize is true. This line 83 gives a float type, returns a float type. It has a maximum value of 1. So you can say that the algorithm is more accurate if it gives a maximum value which is 1. It gives a floating value, like the accuracy score is 0.25, 0.5, 1 is the maximum one. Now the second part, that is accuracy score, when the normalize is given as false, it returns an int type. It gives the number of samples which has been predicted to be true. if all the samples has been predicted true using the algorithm and the desired output have been matched, then it gives the number of samples which is found to be matched that you have given as input. Now symptom 1 dot get all this has been taken and saved it in the p symptoms list. Now what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to iterate my list L2 actually. Both L1 and L2 has the same length. So there is no problem that here L1 or L2 is written. You can write L1 or L2 because both have same length. So there is no issue on that. For Z and P symptoms. Now P symptoms, these symptoms are also being iterated over here. So if the symptom is also equal to that of list symptom, that means both symptoms has been found that yeah, at this index I got it. At that index you should give L2K as 1. Now this would be a bit confusing, but please try to understand over here. You know that L1 contains all the symptoms. L2 contains only 000. The position at which you get the symptoms would be saved in the kth index. The kth index will show that yes, there is a symptom which is being matched with what we got from the user. At that position, the L2 list, which initially contained 0, only at that position it should contain 1. So basically it would be like this. The array would be formed like 000. If the symptom is present, then that position would be given 1, then again 0. Then at that position of that there is a symptom, then 1. This is the main function of making the L2, because L2 is our input set that what user has given us. Okay. So and now we are going to use a predict function over here. So we are giving input test over here, which is a list. Otherwise, if you don't want to make input test variable, you can directly give this L2 over here, but it should be in a form of list which contains only one element, that is the whole L2 set. Okay, now if you want I can just show you how it would be. Here then there would be 0 0 0 0 1, since there is one symptom 0, and again I got a symptom 1, and so on. This would be my input test. Okay, now the predict function, what it does, it will predict this input test, that is the what user has given the symptoms. Actually this returns an array which contains only one element. Predict is the index, like 23. So predict function, it says that the input test has been predicted and that the index that I have got is 23. So this is what it returns to the predict value over here. We're just using as predict 0 to get, because there is only one 0th index, so that we can attain this value over here. Now next is h is equal to, no, I have initialized a string that says h is equal to no. For now I will check this disease is not available in my training data set. So that's my next step over here. So it initially I've declared a variable h which takes the value as no. I'm going to iterate it within the disease because I'm going to check whether this disease is present. This is basically an index over here, whether these are present or not. If it is present, then it converts that yes, it is present and breaks the loop. Now if I get that yes, it is present, that is if h is equal to yes, then it says that first this is the function to delete that is already inserted over there in the text box, and then it inserts disease, and if we have found that there is nothing, no disease has been predicted, then it inserts that there is no disease found. So this is the code part that is run. Yeah, you can see over here that this is my window. The title, disease prediction from symptoms. These are the labels, disease prediction from symptoms, symptom 1. These are my labels. These are the option menus. This is a button. This is a text box over here where I'm going to get my disease. Now, initially I have not given any input, then click the predict button over here, then let me see what it comes. See, there is a message box which shows that please enter the symptoms. Let me take something from Google. Let's take an example of fungal infection. Fungal infection, symptoms, types, and treatments. You can see over here that there is an itching, skin problems, peeling of skin, skin changes, etc., etc. over here. Now, what it could be? Dyschromic patches comes. Next, there is itching. Next, see, there is skin peeling occurs. When skin rash also occurs, right? Skin rash. And okay, there is nodal skin eruptions. So let me predict. We see what it comes. Yeah, the output is predicted. Disease is fungal infection over here. You can see over here that accuracy score has been printed. It is 1.0. That means that is maximum accuracy score, since there are 41 samples totally taken in the test set. So I hope you like my project, and if you want this project, I will drop a GitHub link in the description. You can go over there and get it. And also I have written a blog over here, and you can get more details about the project in the blog. So guys, please like, share, comment, and subscribe my YouTube channel, which will keep me motivating to upload more and more such videos related to projects. Thank you. Bye guys, have a good time.